Hi! So today I wanted to let you all know I just opened my Etsy store. Just because a lot of people were asking me if they can buy things that I make. So now that is available, I try to put few things in so it's not gonna be empty. I've been working quite few days on things to put in my Etsy store. Please check all the links down below in the description box. I will link everything there. So today I just wanted to do some of the envelopes because I have a lot of junk and I just want to turn junk into nice looking envelopes to actually mail things out for happy mails, for anything really. You could probably send documents inside if you wanted to. I will start this video just with showing you some of the envelopes that I already made, and then I'll go from there. I'm not sure how long it's gonna take me to do all of this, but I will try my best to not bore you to death, so you can craft along with me if you wanted to. So I started working on envelopes like while back. I'll put the link down below so you could actually watch the video where I made this one. So this is one of the envelopes that I made with just jelly print paper and some stenciling, and it's all stitched up. And I put a thumb thingy here, but you don't need to do that. I just did that a while back. So the other thing that I made a few days ago was this one. This is just old scraps I put together that I had on my table, because you can see I have a lot of bits and pieces. So this was old scraps, and what I did is I glued them a little bit together when it was a big sheet, and then I just stitched all the joints together to make them more sturdy. And I actually have my template to make an envelope. So I'm trying to find the envelope template because it is here. For some reason I don't see it. Anyhow, I'll show you later if I can find it. So I had a template, just a regular template, and I traced onto the paper and I cut it out, and then I had two flaps here, so I just glued them down. So this is one of the envelopes that I kind of like, but it's really junky. That's all that I can say. And it's sturdy, and since I didn't know when I'm gonna put it together if it's still gonna be sturdy enough, before I glued it together I just put some acrylic paint inside in case, and acrylic paint does make it more sturdier. So this is another one. Probably I'm gonna hoard this one for a while before I send anything out. Another envelope that I started making today. Oh no, this was from yesterday, I think. This is another envelope that I made yesterday. It's basically just papers glued together and a little bit of paint, and you can write like anything because it's matte. I used white and this green color, and on the back I used one of my really old scrapbook paper, and I will link that down below because I think I made it on the video too. I'm not sure. It's been a while, and I wanted to stitch here but I forgot, so you know, it's just glued together. But I stitched all around, and you can see the cow here. But it's kind of cute, and it's sturdy. It's really sturdy. It's not gonna just fall apart. So it's gonna survive the mail without any problem. They all do. So then I made today in the morning, very morning, I made this envelope. Okay, so I moved the camera a little bit. So this was from regular magazine thingy, but it was glossy and thicker. So I used that as the front page, the whole page basically. And I had to put something in the middle, so I just glued some book pages onto another sheet of this magazine, and that's it. I did a little bit of inking though. Maybe you can see it. A little bit of inking, but I think it's looking pretty cute. So another one was, it's the same dimension. I just used all the book pages onto actual page from the magazine, like thicker magazine. I don't even know. I think it was for roof something. And I just glued them down. I really put a lot of glue stick on and glued them down. And I tried to make some decorations, so I stitched where there is more joints to make it look cuter, and you know. And I did stitch the bottom where I actually folded. I did stitch both sides, so I would get the stitch. It would be more interesting, and so that it holds way better. I don't think it's not gonna just fall apart. So as you can see, I try to use few of these kind of thingies, brochure of something. So it's not A4 or regular printer paper size. It's a bit different. So I made few envelopes, try to decorate it with some pages. So on the back, and where I was stitching, I actually used the straight stitch here because I wanted to, whenever I'm gonna glue it together, that it looks like it's same thing. That's just me fussing around a bit too much. But I used the stitching again on all the folds. So as you can see, and it's really sturdy. It's like, you know, you can put whatever inside. It's custom sizing, which I love. And another one, these are not edged or anything, they're just no inking yet. But yeah, they're really sturdy. So whatever I'm gonna put inside is gonna be fine. And another one, this is different magazine advertisement. I think it is the same as this one. I just glued few pages on because I have so many books, and I folded it like this, you know, maybe you can see. And when I cut the edges off, I've seen that I still have a little bit of showing, so if I put anything inside it might show. So I did another row of stitching, and I'm gonna actually have it as this. So this is covered, totally covered, and I just have the bigger flap now. Then I made another one that it's bigger, like this one. This is, let me see, maybe it's A4. Is it A4? A page of something. So it's a little bit smaller than a regular size printer paper because it's made with printer paper. But if I would put gusset, like if I would make custom gusset around, I think I could fit A4 without a problem inside, because now I have stitched top and bottom. But if anything bigger, that you cannot just fit into a smaller envelope or smaller like this, it's quite fine. So what I did is, again, like I did before, I put a lot of pages onto a single page magazine, and on this side, this is 2 pages of what is it called, advertisements, like this. And I just painted and used a little bit of inks on it to make it like so. And yeah, it's sturdy and I really like it, and you can actually see that it has quite a lot of room. So I like this side better, so I wish I would have that on the other side, but if this is gonna be mailed, they can actually use this side for any of their projects if the address is on this side. So I don't mind, but next one I'll try to use this as the front. And the flap, again, I had the same problem. And even this is stitched together because I added this part, because this is like A4 or wherever, and I just stitched one more part to it to have a flap. So you can actually do that too. I think I first used book pages to actually add one more piece and then just stitch it. But yeah, I will try to make bigger ones with maybe newspaper. These are 2 pages glued together, so I could maybe try to figure out a way to use newspaper to make way bigger envelopes. You don't need to actually paint them, you can just glue book pages on it. For this one, I don't know, it might be a bigger envelope like this, right? So I have front and back just stitched together or glued together. You don't need to stitch, that's just an option that I took. That, or you could use something like this and then just go, let's say I'm gonna put this envelope in for the width. I'm gonna go something like this, so I'll have a little bit of room on this side. And let me see, and something like so. And whatever is missing in between, I would do the same way that I did here. I would just glue on the bottom another piece to actually make the envelope, because this is the flap of the envelope. But it's really big though. I could probably make it smaller, but I'm just trying to say, let's make it smaller, okay? Because it's gonna bother me. I'll make it smaller, and then let me just show you. And then make this one bigger and a little bit of space here. Okay. Like this. And now I'll just add a tiny piece of paper collage thingy. I think I had something here. Like so I can actually get somewhere here. You see, it needs to be bigger, but I would glue this first down just a little bit and then stitch it onto a paper, and I have that strip that actually extends the newspaper. So what I'm gonna just do, I will try to glue some pages onto another paper. I will try to find something that it's not so sturdy. Okay, I have this. I'll just use one page of this, whatever this is. Oh, I like the hat. Yeah, this is gonna be hard. This one might be the right one. And use this one to use as a glue thingy. So let me think. I've got my flap, right? And I think I would like to embellish this a little bit more. Maybe just to use some of the pages, right? Like randomly. Like so, I guess. Just, random stuff. And I think what I'm gonna do is, let me first glue this down. I think I'm out of frame. but here that it's not so much color. Something like this, and to make a little bit of interest, because I use just pink here, and I think it's kind of cool if I'll skew it a little bit. Oh, okay, and the top. Something like this. And I usually use Sharpie to write the things. I usually use Sharpie to write address on. I decided I'm going to make it nicer, and I'll stitch on the edge of the actual book page, and might as well do that here as well, just like so. So it's not gonna be totally empty on the other side. And I might add another book to make it more interesting on the other side as well. It's just playing and really using stuff up. It's nothing else. Sorry, I think I was out of frame. That's all that I'm doing here. You know. I'll leave 17, and yeah, I'll stitch around book pages, and then I'll be back to continue on this one. Okay, so I stitched around, and I just did on the inside, not on the outside edge. And when I do stitch, I go from one to another. So I went from this place just to this place without cutting any thread, because it's way easier. And yeah, then I just cut it afterwards. So I'm going to cut this side as well. Now I have my top, and I have my bottom. Yeah, I like it. I could do another thing here, but I just it's okay, because if I'm using Sharpie, then this is just more or less decoration. What I'm gonna do is now I'm just going to try to get that little strip from this, something like, let me see, I'll just measure by finger. I have nothing to, I found something. Let me see. I think I would take this time. Oh, it's too short. Oh, don't worry, I'll make it longer. I'll make it way longer. So somewhere here, if I cut here, and I'll try to make two strips like so. And since I don't know what I'm doing, I'll just cut it by hand, approximately similar. I just go with the flow, and today's crafting is definitely one of those, going with the flow. Yeah. So I think I'm going to join two together. Let's try this one. Use some of the glue, like so. And I think I'm gonna use that for this bit here, like so. I will go stitch this line, and before that I'm gonna chop this off. I wanted to say that I'm going to stitch not straight at all. I wanted to say I'm going to stitch all the folds, so I'm going to turn around and stitch a thread. I'm gonna stitch all the folds. So I have two creases or folds, however you want to call it, and I'm going to stitch like here that I stitched where the fold is. So I'm gonna do that too, and then I'm gonna be back to see how it's looking like. And I think before that we can fold this together and just make a little snip, not from the actual starting point of a fold, but a little bit lower, just to make it look like a nice flap. I don't know how to say it. Another thing you can do is doodle on the spots whenever there is no paint, or just all over it if you want to. You can glue images, you can do just whatever you want. You can make it look like quilt. You can, do you remember those tags that I was making a while back? I have some of these that I made recently. I might put them into my shop, but for now I just wanted to say you could do something like this on a regular piece of newspaper and, you know, make it look as a huge envelope or a smaller envelope or just section of it, and glue it down and stitch just around the section to make it look like how did you call that, like a quilt thingy. I think it's really cute, so you could have that. I just went with just like the basic and really easy one. You could do whatever you desire, and you can just glue it down and just go with a pen like zigzag if you wanted to have stitches but you don't have a sewing machine. I stitched a joint here and the bottom and top of the fold. Now what I'm gonna do is I could dab a little bit of glue if I wanted to, just to not having this move around too much. So you could do that, just to put a little bit of glue on the sides. It might be easier for you to stitch. For me it is, so I just do it. Even though this is my second time doing it. Before, with this one, I just had clips on, a few of the clips, and that was fine too. You can use clips too if you wanted to. Just to actually tack it down just a little bit. This time I am not going to use clips, just a little bit of glue. So while I'm waiting that this dries, not enough glue, they say. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to start somewhere here probably, and I'll just go up and about and here, and I do sometimes, not always, I do try to backstitch on here and here, just, you know, case of an emergency, just for safety reasons I guess, or I'm just weird like that. But the stitch is gonna go through the whole flap on the top and down to the bottom, and that's it, and we're gonna have finished envelope. So let me do that. Let me show you how it looks before I'm going to stitch it. Can you see? Yes. So it's like, and this flap is gonna look way better than just now. And yes, you can ink it if you wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it as it is for now because I don't have, do I have my magenta? So I decided I'm going to ink a little bit. I'm going to use my homemade inks with watercolors. I am going to link that below. And this is really dry because I left it open. Now I'm thinking, what should I do with bigger envelopes like this if I wouldn't mail them? And you can have them for your scraps. you know, for like a folder thingy if you wanted to, and make bunch. You don't need to decorate. That's just what I did for the envelope thingy, so it's more interesting. But you can just glue 2 pieces or 3 pieces of newspaper together and just stitch them into folders and have that to actually organize your stuff. Why not? You can do whatever. Why not? So I'll be right back. I'll stitch around and then you're gonna see how it looks like. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, this is the finished envelope. The problem is Emma forgot to change the bobbin. So I have like light pink on the bottom. Looks like white to me on the video, but it's still fine. Nothing wrong with it. I like this side better, but then, you know, the flap again has the white looking one. So it doesn't matter, but if I would do it again, I would change the bobbin so both sides would be the same color or more vibrant. I would use this like black or something that I can see on this paper. I do tend to sew papers as fabric, and I do cherish the paper as fabric. So, you know, I know it's not the same, but I try to save and just reuse whatever, because it's another thing that people do throw away, and they cherish books, but not the actual other things that are made from paper as well. And you do need to kill some trees to actually get newspaper and other advertisements that we get. So that's it. I think this one is finished, and so is this video. Just wanted to make one on the video so you can actually get your juices flowing and think outside the box what to do. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I'm so glad you are with me on this journey and that we can recycle together as much as possible. Thank you very much. Have a great day and happy crafting.